Hi, this is Chloe, here for the first in a new series of videos on magical tapping. And if you want to find out more about tapping, then please do check out my website, magicalwellness.co, that's C-O, and there you'll find a free download talking about the basics of tapping, what it is, how it works, which points you need to tap on, and so forth. In order to create these videos, what I'm going to do is let myself be inspired by spirit. So do a reading of cards and then see where that takes us in terms of what do we need to tap on. And if you found this video, then it probably means that this is something that's going to be helpful for you right now. In any case, even if the situation that I talk about isn't really exactly where you are at, then there's still, we talk about borrowing benefits in tapping. And the notion is that by tapping along, even if it isn't exactly your problem, it will still help you with whatever situation you're working on emotionally at that time. And sometimes, in fact, it can even be better or certainly easier to work on something that's not really quite your problem because your problem feels too much, too overwhelming. And so tapping on something else can help to reduce that overwhelm and start bringing you to a place where you can more easily approach your actual subject. So I really invite you to just tap along with me. Say what I say, do what I do. If anything doesn't feel right to you, then skip that bit or put in different words or just stay silent at that point, whatever feels right. So, for today, I decided to draw 3 cards from my own deck, the Celtic Lenormand, and the little reading that I got was this. We have Scythe and Tree and Stars. And what I see here is that there has been a shock, a terrible shock. And there's kind of 3 main areas where this might be. So this might be a shock or a scare around health. It might be a sudden change in your health. It could be a sudden change in the health of a loved one, for example, also. Or it could be a shock that has nothing to do with health, but that is affecting your well-being. And to be honest, we're going to tap on that last one because even if it is a health shock, and even if it is the health of somebody else, someone that you love, that has been affected, it's going to be influencing your own sense of well-being. That might be on an emotional level, it might be on a physical level, it might be both. Certainly on a mental level as well, if you're worrying about it. Anything where you kind of said, yeah, a health shock, it's someone else, it's not me. But if it's bothering you, then there's something going on with your well-being as well. And then finally, we have the Stars card, which is about guidance. And so here, because they kind of come together, it could be guidance around your health, but also the Tree card can be about growth. And so this also invites us to find the spiritual growth that is possible through dealing with this shock that has affected our well-being. So that's what we're going to be tapping on today. Before we start, it's always a good idea to think about what situation feels appropriate for you during this tapping session, and also to think about how intense does it feel right now. If you have physical pain in your body, if it's that kind of a health thing, how strong is that pain on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is no pain and 10 is, my God, that's so bad. Or if it's an emotional pain, or if it's, your well-being having been affected by some kind of shock, a shock to you or to someone that you love, then how bad is that shock? 0 is, hey, don't feel it at all, and 10 is really bad, very intense. So take a moment to think about that. And it's always good to jot it down on a piece of paper before you start, because tapping really shifts things quite dramatically and quite quickly. And so it's good to have that kind of reminder. Yeah, when I started this, it really felt like that, and it has really changed. So if you don't write it down, sometimes you're like, yeah, well, I'm sure it wasn't really that bad. I just kind of misremembered it. No, you wrote it down. This is what you thought. And for this, if a number doesn't, if you think, well, I'm not sure quite how bad it is, just guess. Say a number at random. Whatever number first comes to your mind, write that one down. So, this shock, some kind of shock, something that has affected your health, something that has affected your well-being, how bad is it? How bad does it feel? Take a moment, write it down. Okay, and we'll make a start. So, even though I have suffered this terrible shock that is affecting my sense of well-being, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Even though I've had this terrible shock that's having a real effect on me, on my sense of well-being, on my health, I trust in the universe. Even though I've had this terrible shock that's affecting my sense of well-being, I trust in the love and guidance of the universe. Now we change to the reminder phrase. This terrible shock, this awful shock, so shocking, has really changed my perceptions. It's really affecting me. Such a shock, a terrible shock. This shock has really affected the way that I feel emotionally and in my body. This terrible shock, an awful shock, really affecting me. This terrible shock. Place your hands over your heart and take a deep breath in and out. And now take a moment to tune back into that feeling inside you of this shock and how it's affecting you. See if it's shifted at all. We're going to do another round with a slightly different emphasis, focusing on moving us forward and out of this. So first of all, jot down where you are now. That's mine. And now we'll start again with a slightly different sequence. So starting with your hands over your heart and taking 3 slow deep breaths. Tuning into yourself. Last breath. Even though I experienced this terrible shock, and there's still some effect from it lingering in my sense of well-being, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Even though I had a terrible shock that's still having some effect on me, I trust in the love and the guidance of the universe to help me through. Even though I had a terrible shock that affected my well-being, I know that the universe loves and supports me. Taking another slow deep breath. And tapping slightly different points this time. Allowing the energy of the universe to flow into me. Trusting in my intuition to help me through this. knowing that this shock is a learning opportunity also. And even if it doesn't feel that way right now, this experience will help me to gain greater clarity. And I can trust in my gut to show me the right way forward. The right way to deal with this shock that has affected me. And maybe I need to speak my truth about this shock, to express it, even if only here, out loud by myself. Tuning into myself again, tuning into myself and into the love and energy of the universe. Now I'd like you to once again tune into how you are feeling around that subject. See if it's shifted. See if it hasn't. Sometimes things do get a bit worse before they get better. If that's the case, then you could do another round of this, play the video again. Trust that the universe will support you in moving through this painful situation. Blessed be.